Okay, this video is going to show a little demo of the DebriefMapGenerator project. So what we have on the screen right now, on the left we have the source map. This would be the actual incident map that everyone's working on during the search, importing tracks, drawing new assignments, etc. On the right we have the target map, which is the debrief generated map. You're really not going to be paying attention to that map at all until you need to print a team debrief map. This will be running in the background, so it'll generate itself without your having to pay attention to it until you need to print something from it. So to get this script started here, I'm just going to fire off the background script. It creates a lot of verbose output for debugging that we're not going to be paying attention to during a search. First thing you'll notice, it will populate all of the objects from the source map into the target map. When you start it up, it'll keep up with changes you make, like in the source map, if you say edit this name, edit some other properties on it, edit the geometry on it. As soon as you hit OK, after the next refresh, it'll import all those changes onto the target map. And then we'll show some of the features that you're actually interested in using this for, which is creating nice team debrief maps. So on the source map over here, let's say you have some assignments at the start of your operation. Oops, I want to be in the source map. And at the start, we're not going to give it a team number yet. So you have that map, that assignment, and let's say we make another one here, AB. Notice it's going to import those assignments into the target map. It'll create a new folder for each one, and one shape, which is the assignment boundary. It doesn't have any opacity on the fill. That's going to help with legibility on the printed debrief maps. And the border is thicker and is not completely opaque. Also going to help for legibility. So let's say it's farther along in search now. You're able to assign team numbers to each of these. AA, let's give it 103. Notice the name is going to get updated here on the target map. The folder name is updated and the boundary name is updated too. Notice this guy has an extra vertex. It's snapped all the way down here, so let's just get rid of that, and let's also give it a number. As soon as I hit OK, those changes will show up over on the target map. Create AB105. So let's say it's getting a little farther along in the day now. Teams are returning, and you're going to import some lines for them, some tracks. So it doesn't care about the source map having the ownership model correct. The tracks don't have to be owned track objects that are owned by the assignment object. All it really depends on is the correct naming convention. So let's make a line here. In our naming convention for, say this is going to be owned by AA103, so our naming convention is going to be something like AA103A. Let's say they enter the assignment, they do some wandering around. Now normally you would be importing these from a GPS, or they would appear as finished app tracks, either way. So notice as soon as I finish that there, it's going to import that shape, and it's going to crop it to a little bit beyond the assignment boundary here. Let's do another one for A103A. Some other team members, let's call this A103B. Also going to wander around. Let's say they wandered outside the assignment for a while and wandered back in. Say their track crosses over itself. The tool is fine with all of this. It'll handle that nicely. Finish that track, it'll import it over here. It will crop it, and it will use a different color for each one. And it's okay, notice it's okay with the fact that they entered and came back in. It just treats that as two different lines. So let's say we're not sure why it decided to uncrop this one here. Worry about that later. Let's say we have a third team member, A103C, goes in, wanders around some, comes back out, had a long walk back to IC. Double click on that to save it. It'll get imported here in a new color and cropped to a little bit beyond the boundary. So that's how the importing of data works. Now let's say it's time to actually print that debrief map. The only work you have to do here on the left bar in doctoring up the generated debrief map is to uncheck the assignments you don't want to see. That's it. So if I'm going to print a map for AA103, AA103 is the only assignment folder that I'm going to have checked. So then I just use my print interface like normal, get it to the place I want to see it. And maybe give it a title and print it up, and there you go. So that should be a much higher quality team debrief map that you can actually have a discussion on with your debriefer. Okay, that should do it.